In Euro 2004, a bunch of Greek footballers travelled to Portugal and came home with the trophy, pulling off one of the biggest shocks in footballing history and putting each of their names up there alongside Hercules. Let's take a look at the Greek starting 11 that beat Portugal in the Euro 2004 final. But then again, this is probably a bit of a wasted venture. It's not as if anybody still remembers this team. Right, Antonios Nicopolidis. Antonios Nicopolidis may have looked like he hung around with two Irish priests on a remote island, but he was actually one of Greece's most respected ever goalkeepers. The silver-haired 34-year-old left Panathinaikos in the immediate aftermath, signing for Olympiakos, where he was on the receiving end of a Steven Gerrard thunderbolt later that year. He spent 7 more years at the club, retiring in 2011, having won 6 league titles and 4 Greek Cups. He also holds the record for winning the Greek Best Goalkeeper award on 8 occasions. He spent time as assistant boss at Olympiakos, but since 2015 he's been working as a coach for the national team's under-21 side. Georgios Saitoridis. One of the stars to emerge from that ugly defensive unit, Georgios Saitoridis found himself linked to the likes of Real Madrid during the tournament due to his impressive form. But he found himself replacing one of Portugal's right backs, with Paulo Ferreira having left FC Porto for Chelsea. He lasted a year in Portugal before following the Porto exodus to Dynamo Moscow in May 2005. He made 8 league appearances before becoming the second Greek footballer to ever play for Atletico Madrid. He spent 3 seasons there before returning to Panathinaikos in 2009 and retiring in 2013 at the age of 32. Michalis Kapsis. There seems to be a common theme here. Everybody seemed to ditch their clubs after Euro 2004. Funny that. Michalis Kapsis was another, the 30-year-old swapping AEK Athens for Bordeaux after the tournament finished. He lasted just 1 season there before returning to Greece with Olympiakos. It did not go well there either, nor during his 2-year stint at Apoel Nicosia. In 2008 he signed for Levadiakos, which sounds like something out of Harry Potter, before retiring in 2010 at first club Ethnikos Piraeus. Trenos Dilas. Thrust into the spotlight when he scored the first and only silver goal in a European Championship, knocking out tournament favourites Czech Republic in the semi-final, Trenos Dilas did not need to bag himself a big money move to mainland Europe. He was already there. The 28-year-old former Sheffield United centre-back had signed for Roma in 2002 and left in 2005, as one of only 3 players not to have been booed all season by the fans. Vincenzo Montella was one, and, well, I think you can guess the other one. He returned to Greece with AEK Athens and then left for Anathorsis Famagusta in July 2008. Where they made history by becoming the first Cypriot club to ever reach the group stages of the Champions League. In June 2010 he signed with AEK Athens and in May 2012 announced his retirement. In May 2013 he was appointed AEK Athens boss and managed them in Greece's 3rd tier in a bid to clear the team's debts. He resigned in October 2015 before signing a contract with Super League club Atromitos the following month. He lasted a year. Takis Fisas. The Portuguese might have missed out on the chance to win silverware on home soil, but for Takis Fisas, he was winning the tournament in his home stadium. The 31-year-old had moved to Benfica in December 2003 and even scored a goal in the final of the Portuguese Cup, helping them to victory against FC Porto. He ended up leaving Benfica as a league champion in 2005, moving to Scotland with Hearts, where he helped them to victory in the Scottish Cup final over Gretna, a far cry from marking the likes of Robert Pires and Cristiano Ronaldo the previous summer. He moved back to Panathinaikos in 2007, played a few games before quietly moving into retirement. Since then he's been part of the backroom staff for the national side. Theo Zagorakis. So of all the starlets Euro 2004, what were the odds on former Leicester City man Theo Zagorakis being named player of the tournament? Probably the same as his former club going on to win the Premier League 12 years later. The 32-year-old AEK Athens midfielder was a tenacious, tough-tackling midfielder and was voted man of the match in the final. 10 days later, he left for Bologna on a free transfer, being hailed by his new owners as the Greek Baggio. I'm not sure if they'd ever watched Zagorakis play, but Baggio actually scored a few goals. After 32 goalless games, he was relegated and returned to Greece via PAOK, where he was mobbed upon arrival as a national hero. He retired in 2007 with 120 caps to his name and was instantly named the PAOK president. He resigned in October 2009, changed his mind before calling it quits for real after fans violently protested against the sale of its best player. He's been keeping busy though. In May 2014 he was elected as a Greek MEP at the European Parliament election. Kostas Katsouranis. The pronunciation of this man's name should come with a health warning. One of the relatively young men of the Greek side of 2004 at 25 years of age, Kostas Katsouranis went on to enjoy an illustrious career with the national side, earning 116 caps and appearing at 4 more international tournaments. He retired from professional football in September 2015, 3 months after seeing his country lose to the Faroe Islands. Probably a wise decision. He spent 3 seasons with Benfica between 2006 and 2009 before leaving Panathinaikos for PAOL in 2012. He finished up his career with short-lived spells at Pune City, Atromitos and Heidelberg United. Angelos Bassinas. Angelos Bassinas got the ball rolling for Greece, scoring what turned out to be the winning goal in their opening game of the tournament against Portugal. When Portsmouth signed him in February 2009, the club marketed him as yet another European champion they were signing. When the fans realised who they were talking about, they couldn't have been less thrilled. Of course, it didn't help that hours after his debut, Tony Adams was sacked and replaced by Paul Hart, a man who barely played him, but he did end up helping Portsmouth reach the 2010 FA Cup final before moving to Arles Avignon in League One, where he linked up with a certain Angelos Charisteas, but more on him later. Bassinas made 5 appearances in France before giving up and retiring. He's one of a select few Greeks to have 100 caps to his name. Stelios Giannakopoulos, the only man from this lineup that English commentators might have been familiar with back in 2004, and even then some still took about 3 goals to get his name right. Stelios Giannakopoulos was a fan favourite at the Reebok Stadium and had all of Bolton behind him during the tournament. The egg-headed wide man had signed from Olympiacos the previous summer and went on to make 177 appearances for the club, scoring 28 goals before leaving for Hull City in 2008. You've probably forgotten about that. Jesus, he's probably forgotten about that since it was such a waste of time. He started just 1 game for the Tigers before leaving for unfashionable Larissa in January 2009. Stelios' arrival was hailed as a coup and he helped the club to a surprise 5th place finish which qualified them for European competition. He was voted president of the Greek Professional Footballers Association in May 2010 before starting his managerial career in August 2012 at Paneliakos. He was fired 6 months later. Since 2016 he's been in charge of Kifsia, where you will probably be familiar with none of their players. Zizis Vrisas. For a striker, Zizis Vrisas' record was pretty shameful. The man scored 9 goals and 68 caps and hit double digits in his career on 1 occasion. And this man won a European Championships. The mind boggles. The striker joined Celta Vigo in 2004 on loan from Fiorentina, failed to impress, and returned to the Viola to play precisely 0 minutes of league football all season before taking in a half season on loan at Torino where he scored twice in 11 games. He finished his career in 2008 after spells with Skoda Xanthi and PAOK where he scored a combined 1 goal. Again, how did this man win the tournament? He was briefly appointed PAOK chairman in October 2009 following Zagorakis' resignation. He became president at the club in 2012 and from the summer of 2014 worked as technical director. Financial difficulties plagued his tenure and he went on to work as technical director at Super Club Veria for a year before taking on administrative roles with regards to the organisation of the Greek Cup in December 2016. Angelos Charisteas, the man of the hour, popping up to bag the most important goal in Greek footballing history. The then Werder Bremen striker went on to play for Ajax, Feyenoord, Nuremberg, Bayer Leverkusen, Arles Avignon, see, told you we'd revisit that one, Panathinaikos, and finally Al Nassr in 2013. And he never scored more than 9 league goals in a season and only scored a combined 9 during his last 5 seasons of professional football. I'm confused, is he paid to score goals or what? He represented Greece at both Euro 2008 and the 2010 World Cup and retired with 88 caps and 25 international goals to his name, but he will always be remembered for that one header that made a teenage Ronaldo cry. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure you check out Footy Feed for all the latest transfer rumours and news.